Step 9. We made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 1 Peter 5, 6 through 7. Humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, that he may lift you up in due time. Cast all your anxiety on him, because he cares for you. During my years as an active alcoholic, I said I'm sorry hundreds of times. Many people I deeply care about heard me say I'm sorry hundreds of times. Those words had very little meaning to them. It's understandable why. When somebody says they're sorry but repeats the same behavior over and over again, and to continue that pattern for as long as we do, is no different than the old story of the boy who cried wolf. The word sorry no longer has any meaning. It's understandable why people form a bad opinion of us. Addiction takes hold of us so strongly that we don't even know if we're coming or going. Unfortunately, people around us that care don't know if we're coming or going either. We put them in a state of confusion because we ourselves are in a state of confusion. Alcohol and drugs control our life. When a foreign substance controls your life, its tendency is to simply put you in a state of bewilderment. It puzzles us and confuses us. We don't even know what's going on. We end up having no respect for ourselves. We lose our self-esteem. We want people to understand. We desire people to think good of us, but our addiction keeps that from happening. Why? Our behaviors repeat themselves over and over again. We need a clear understanding of what this step is about. We now make amends to those we have harmed. We have always wanted people to respect us, wanted people to have empathy for us. We didn't necessarily want them to feel sorry for us. We just really want them to understand. Our acronym is SORRY, S-O-R-R-Y. System of rationalizing respecting yourself. People often use sorry in place of the word apologize. Webster defines the word apologize as something spoken in defense, acknowledgement of an offense, and expression of a regret. Poor substitute. Sorry is defined as distressed, mean, poor. When we say, I'm sorry, we are usually unaware of what we just told someone. I'm sorry says, I'm in a poor state of being, or I'm distressed. We're actually thinking we said, I apologize and I regret my behavior. Reality suggests we unintentionally described ourselves instead of making an apology. The person we said it to thinks we use it as an excuse and don't truly mean it anyway. So we search for a feeling of worthiness, trying to build self-esteem. Our hope is they understand and we can't help ourselves. We don't try to hurt them. It actually becomes our system to rationalize respecting ourselves more than it is an apology to someone. We get to the place we say, I'm sorry, so often we know they aren't hearing it. Once again, Webster defined apology as an acknowledgement or expression of regret. He also stated it's a poor substitute. Regret means to grieve for something done, left undone, or lost. In other words, regret is our inner feeling which causes us to grieve the fact that we've done wrong. The thing we should understand about this step is what an amend really is. Often some confuse this step with believing this is about going to those people and asking for forgiveness. Webster defines forgiveness as a pardon or to remit. Remit is defined as to forgive, give up, slacken. Alcoholics and addicts seldom are able to clean themselves up and refrain from using. By our mere nature, we tend to look for the easier, softer way out as opposed to an earnest effort. So it's no wonder some of us desire to assume we're simply to ask for forgiveness. Shoot, we might as well just holler, "Just let me off the hook." The intent of step 9 is about making amends, not asking for forgiveness. An amend is to make better, reparations. Reparations are to make repairs. It's about going to those people and making an earnest effort to repair the wrongs which we have done. A substantial amount of humility and mustering up some courage are required in this process. Our new ability to rely heavily on God and the Holy Spirit are also essential and important ingredients. Most people who anticipate doing this step develop emotions of fear and anxiety. The reason, of course, we get fearful is uncertainty. We begin to predetermine in our minds what we think someone is going to do or how they are going to react. We start to feel uneasy and allow ourselves to become troubled about something doubtful or in the future. This troubled feeling is anxiety. Allowing ourselves to create this fear is what instills our feeling of anxiety. If you'll recall, we discussed fear when we learned about that tool we used in step 4. Our acronym for the word fear was Frantic Emotions Appear Rational. We mustn't presume the outcome of doing an amend. We truly do not know what the reaction of the other person will be. We must not presume it will be bad. Have you ever seen the movie Lion King? There's this one segment in that movie that I just absolutely adore. It makes me laugh so hard I hurt. It was when Rafiki, the monkey, was talking to Simba, the young lion, trying to comfort Simba about not being able to let go of something in his past. So Rafiki cracked Simba over the head with his cane. Simba screamed, "What'd you do that for?" Rafiki responded, "Doesn't matter, it's in the past." We have developed a willingness to make amends to the people that we have harmed. This step has to do with actually taking action upon that willingness. We make amends or restitution. We shouldn't presume our amends are going to give negative results. In many, if not most cases, it ends up turning into a remarkable blessing. Then we end up thinking, "What on earth was I afraid of?" Or, "I wish I'd done this a long time ago." It helps build one's self-esteem. Most people just become appreciative. They realize that you are making a serious attempt at changing your life and are genuinely proposing to right a wrong. In most cases, that's all they wanted to begin with. You have started the process of wanting to make amends even before we got to this step. For example, once I started a 12-step program and was beginning to understand myself, my drinking ended and my head started to clear up. I was anxious to go talk to my mother, to let her know I was doing my best, explaining to Mom I was going to a program to straighten myself out. In essence, long before I ever got to this step, I had started the process of making amends. People will be encouraged by you addressing them. You most likely will run into some situations that won't go quite so well. But remember, we already made certain we were willing to do this. We go with a genuine, heartfelt effort. Some people will be willing to accept this. You may run into people who may not just want to even hear it. Don't let this discourage you. We're not there to try to convince anyone. We need to approach it being very sensible and very tactful. We want to be considerate towards them. Be humble.